Humans of the cardboard, welcome back to Just Nuts, guys. Today we are talking Maze of the Master. We are right around the corner from this set getting opened up by content creators and having basically the entire set list revealed. There's only a handful of things that we're really still waiting on. It's basically reprints and the new ODION archetype. That's really the last things revealed, and they really need to execute here. This set could be in trouble if they do not make, you know what I mean, make this stuff actually like pretty good. And we'll look at this as we go, but yeah, they kind of need to execute here at the end. So if you don't know, this set, Maze of the Master, it's a TCG set. It's importing all of the new cards from Animation Chronicle 2024, 9 months old. Yikes. As well as the Duelist pack, Duelists of Brilliance, 10 months old in the OCG. Yikes again, double yikes. And so we get these new cards, which is cool. Like, I think if we had gotten these on a 3-month timeline, some of these archetypes could have been legit rogue decks last year. But with power creep and us transitioning from Snake Eye format to the power creep of Ryziel and Malice format, it's hard to expect these archetypes to keep up when they were basically printed and designed for almost an entire year ago, because we know how power creep in Yu-Gi-Oh goes. I guess the main thing to mention, though, is from the big thing that actually translate for me. So if you don't know, Duels of Brilliance is going to have Tachyon support, Galaxy support, kind of, Trickstar support, and ABC support. They're all fine. They all might be like fun little rogue decks, but I don't expect any of them to convert top level competitive play. The one card that really matters, though, is 7th Tachyon. This is the new Rhoda that's going to be very huge for Ryziel consistency, as well as just honestly a handful of Exceed decks. This card's really good, and as long as you don't mind being locked into them, card's very good. I expect it to be the chase card of the set, and that's why the one, as far as the reprint section of the set goes, the one thing I'm most concerned about is 7th Ascension. This card searches Tachyon. So in a deck that really needs a big consistency bump, this card could be huge to have not only 3 copies with Tachyon, but 6 with Ascension. Problem is, this card's only been printed once, and as you can see, it's like, because of that one printing, it's an ultra rare in 20 wait, this card is in 2022. Okay, this card's not as old as I thought, but it hasn't been printed since 2022. One printing, ultra rare, high rarity, it's $30, right? That's brutal. So that's the one huge reprint that I think needs to be in here, especially alongside the release of 7th Tachyon. And there's a handful of other, obviously, just like more generic reprints that people would hope for. Perulia, maybe, Dominus Impulse, just a couple cards like that I could see people wishing for. Silhouette Rabbit would honestly be a good one, but we'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, and then, so we talked about Duelist of the Brilliance. If you look at Animation Chronicle 2024, this one was not built like 2023, I can tell you that. There's no bonfire, there's no transaction rollback, there's no cards like that. There's some interesting stuff, right? Grief Tablet, maybe another consistency card for the Millennium archetype. The Duke of Demise has some synergy with the Fiendsmith engine. There's the new Clear archetype that's just not very good altogether. Ancient Gear, Statue, and Gimmick Puppet, Fiendish Knight help those decks respectively. But again, those decks were kind of slightly interesting 9-10 months ago when this actually came out, but not as much now. So I don't even know if those cards are good enough. There's a whole new wave of Perform Age stuff, but again, that's like Pendulum stuff. This deck feels like classic Pendulum, where like going first scary, going second struggle. And I guess the last thing I would mention is the Alert Queen stuff, which is kind of an interesting engine, a good like spellcaster engine. May have synergy with like the Magistus cards when we finally get those from Premium Pack. But outside of that, I'm like, it's a cool spellcaster engine and could come up down the line because these are high quality cards. They just don't feel like they have a home yet. And so that leaves us in a place where we're like, it feels like this set, outside of specifically 7th Tachyon and some really high quality reprints, where's the value in the set? Because you've got like 3 fringe rogue decks in Duels of the Brilliance. You have a couple of interesting cards, but nothing even really that interesting competitively from Animation Chronicle. It really leaves you in a place of like, where's the value? Where's the value going to be? So when you go to look at the new ODION archetype, it's basically all in the reprints being really good and the ODION archetype being really good. You know what I mean? If they execute and make this good, then we could be in a good spot. Otherwise, we could be struggling. It should have 9 cards. That's a huge bonus. 9 is a ton. That's a huge wave here. So Hopefully that's where we go. We know that it's a trap-based archetype, trap monster-based archetype specifically. And so cards like Silhouette Rabbit seem like they would inherently be crazy as long as they are continuous trap monsters. That then this card should actually be like actually quite broken Link 2 in the deck. We just need to see the quality of the trap monsters, and then this card could be out of this world good. We'll see though. You have stuff like Apophis the Swamp Deity, probably a guaranteed staple in the deck as well. Even the vibe fits so well with the deck. This card, one of the inherent flaws with a lot of trap decks, trap based decks, is board breakers, right? Your Harpy's Feather Dusters, your evenly matches, because they can just wipe. You have to commit so many cards to the back row and field that you can get punished. This card, especially this card being searchable off of Silhouette Rabbit really easily, can basically just guarantee you the ability to protect yourself from those board breakers is really nice. I like this card quite a bit. Even if it's a one-off, it's just like I'm doing my board and I already opened like everything I want from the actual engine. I'm going to make Silhouette and set this. And now I'm protected from board breakers too, which is really good. Eldritch is something to keep an eye on. It just recently got 2 new cards, or it's going to, in Alliance Insight, which we'll get actually fairly soon. But this could have, it's something to keep an eye on. We don't know what these monsters are. These monsters could be fiends, they could be zombies, they could be insects, kind of like the Beast of Circuit looking guys. They could be reptiles like Apophis. We don't know. But if they end up being zombie oriented, Eldritch could have some extra synergy there. It's something to keep an eye on. I don't expect it to, but it's another one to just be like, weird that they're on the same timeline right now. And so yeah, that puts us in a position where a lot is riding on this archetype. I really hope they come through and do a good job, because if this archetype flops completely, we may be in a position where 7th Tachyon is going to be a shitload of money, and you're going to have a hard time finding worthwhile value in the set aside from that. Whereas if this set hits, if this archetype hits and some good reprints also alongside of it, we might be looking at a pretty solid set overall. So the other thing I would mention too is some people who are pessimistic about this archetype. I would say that's fair. Last year in this set, like they make this set every year basically. Last year we got the Flame Swordsman archetype, kind of flopped, didn't really have much competitive relevancy. Year before that, we got the Gate Guardian archetype, really flopped. That one really didn't do much at all. And so like I understand if you're pessimistic from that standpoint. I would also say that to say this: during that time frame when those 2 sets came out and those archetypes did, Konami was on a run of just terrible TCG exclusive archetypes, right? That was something a ton of players were complaining about. Even in the core sets, TCG exclusive archetypes were terrible for that almost that entire span. And now if you look at modern day, what are the last 2 TCG exclusive archetypes? Mimigul and Mitsurugi. Mimigul, solid rogue deck, has a handful of tops already since its inception, since its second wave, 7 new cards, like in 4 months or whatever. It has a handful of tops. That's all we're looking for, solid rogue. And we also see the Mitsurugi deck with only 1 wave, still getting 7 new cards, mind you, in like the next month or whatever. That set's going to be or month and a half probably. That archetype is top 5 archetype in the game, maybe top 3 even in the game competitively right now. So they've just been hotter as of late, and I wonder if that's more of a philosophical change on Konami TCG's end of being like, you know what, when these archetypes are poo, it doesn't add value to the set. People don't want to buy those cards. It doesn't add value. It doesn't add incentive for players to pick up the set, and so these sets do worse. Whatever. I think it helps everybody when cards are just better. Again, they don't have to be Mitsurugi. They don't have to be top tier. But if it's at least Mimigul level and like, wow, this deck can definitely compete. This can play with the big boys. That's a huge leg up, and that just adds another layer to this set of value and excitement that if it doesn't have it, I'm not sure these other cards are really gonna bring too many people in to buy the set. So I think it all makes sense. I think it's all set up at this point to make this archetype good. I hope that I'm hoping, and then I'm not coping instead, because I'm really excited for this. I love the idea of trap monsters. They've made Eldritch really good a couple years ago. A couple years before that, they made Paleozoic really good. So Konami has shown a propensity to like make trap monsters good, and I'm hoping this is just the next iteration, because I think that'd be really, really sweet. So there you go. I'm hyped for it. I really am. Hopefully this week is when we get it. If not, it'd be like early to mid next week. So at most like 10 days, like very early March is the latest we'd be getting this, but still something to keep in mind. But there you go. Just to kind of get you ready and get you excited, because I know I am. Let me know your thoughts down below. Where do you land on this archetype? Are you excited for it? Are you scared of it because you weren't a fan of Eldritch and stuff in the past? I'd like to hear your guys' thoughts on this down below. I hope it's cool. I'm really excited for it. But let me know your thoughts down below. Let's hope for a good archetype at the very least, just to make products better overall, even if it's not your personal cup of tea. And take it from there. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe for more on the channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.